right, starting that recording, and I'm just gonna now check up and see if those BattleFlies have arrived. Then I'll do my screen share. We can start going. So, Jean, what are you looking for today? What do you want to build?
What do I want to build? Interesting. Let's see. I can see the shields are still very prominent, but armor is making a comeback. So let's go with some electric combo. Let's see what we can get. I would say first let's get some utility, and that's my strategy at least. And depending on what I get in utilities, and I focus on weapons.
So, starting with the utility and then shape the weapons around
Yeah,
it is basically your
yeah.
mindset.
Exactly, yes. I like this strategy because that's where that give you a strong direction from the get go.
Right. Definitely, yeah. Like I was saying earlier, you want to be responsive. I think that's the biggest number one takeaway if you haven't built one of these before is that you don't want to try and force a build unless you have like a really strong set of traits that are going to correspond to that. You kind of want to see what you get and then build around those particulars.
Exactly.
So,
So with utility, often utility will reinforce one or other mods or both. So if we get a utility that is very good for fast attacks, then we will look for fast guns. And if it's better for slow, if you have a stealth, for example, then of course you want 8-second shooters. So that's yeah, I will focus on utility. After as a type of utility, I think we can go with Black Ops because there's a lot of cool game changing mods there that will give a strong direction to the rest.
all right, perfect. So, we have this wonderful
LOL
BattleFly.
Double Bob. You have good name. You have really good name Battlefly here.
Thank you. Yes,
Double Bob.
I choose them by their names, actually, believe it or not. I have one called Dench Trueblood on my non-work wallet. This is my work wallet. So, yeah. So I have here this beacon fly. This is one that I've owned for a little bit. Yes, Thok, Sir Thok here is a beacon fly, and it is just a never seen battle, brand new, fresh, hot off the press. So we are going to be suiting up our Hassius here. But John, there's one thing we have to do first, and that's open this loot box.
Of course.
We have to open our daily loot reward, or perhaps this is from an achievement. I apologize if this is loud. This is a noisy experience, as anyone who's opened one knows. All right, and so we do get some nectar. Unfortunately, not one of the more exciting rewards, but we do need those for our building. All right, John. So number one thing here, I assume we want to start with some of these marks. Would you agree?
Yes, let's get a Black Ops mark. Let's get a Hunter mark. If you are we are flush with nectars, and also get, of course, a mark, a gold mark
That's
if you can afford it.
cool. So we are flush with nectar over here in my account. So we're going to go ahead and do this. So for anyone that isn't experienced at building the battleflies, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be scavenging for mods. We're going to be replacing these core mods, which are perfectly fine for the proving grounds and getting started, but they are going to be underpowered if you want to actually be placing on the leaderboards and competing in the Hyperdome. So to facilitate that, you have these scavenging marks. Each of these improves your Battlefly's ability to scavenge rare mods. They go from bronze to silver to gold. The bronze is actually the best value, believe it or not, in terms of like nectar cost to ratio of the odds that you get. The silver and the gold are actually decreasing in value, but they are increasing in power. So we have the nectar for it. And as Jean mentioned, you should always get the gold if you have the nectar to spare. If you're trying to save your nectar, going for the bronze is the best value. But I think the silver is the most popular because it provides that middle ground. But we're doing gold, right, John?
Yes, let's go.
All right. And now, John, you had mentioned starting with looking for particular types of mods here. So the scavenging mark is going to increase your odds all across the board. So the one that we just got here, you'll see it pop in a second, is going to give us an ability to get rarer mods anywhere. But we also have our hunter's marks, and these let us get a particular type of mod more likely. So normally, when you go scavenging in a particular wasteland, any mod that you see come out of one of those mod packs has a 50% chance of it being of that type. So if we were to scavenge for armor, for example, in the armor wasteland, we would see on average half of those, half of the time, one each of those mods would be an armor mod. but we can move that percentage up to 83% using a hunter's mark. Hunter's marks are very affordable. They're only 25 nectar, so they're
Oh,
a
no, no,
great
no.
way to. Okay, John. I'm not
Don't get
clicking it.
armor, get black.
I'm not clicking it. You're good.
Ah.
I'm gonna seek your advice, but they are very affordable. They're only 25 nectar, and so this is all something you can change as you go. So we might start out looking for cybernetics, but if we get a really good electric mod or something, we might switch over. So where do you want to start here, John?
Yeah, as I mentioned, utility is a good way to start your build. So these days, let's go with Black Project because it has a few really good mods. If we land on those, then we will set the build on one direction.
Perfect. So we're gonna equip that. You can see our mods now pop in there, our hunter's marks pop in there. Now, these are timed, so you will get a week of time to use each of these different marks, the scavenging mark and the hunter's mark. And that means that you can do some scavenging today. And if you maybe get some extra nectar from your daily mods or from your battles, you can come back 3, 4, 5, 6 days from now and still use them. So keep an eye on your marks and remember they're good for more than just one session. They are timed, not by amount open. So I think we're ready to scavenge here. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
And I believe we just bought? Black Project, was that correct? Black Market?
Yes, correct. So
Black
it's
Project.
important to note here that when you have the black, if you boost your chance to get a black project, if you don't scavenge black project, you don't change your chance to get a mod. So better
Absolutely.
make sure you choose the right scavenging place, the Arctic Research HQ.
Yes, and you can see each of these, the first line in one of these will tell you the chance of finding that particular type. So this is the one you're gonna be looking for. So if our hunter's mark, for example, we had chosen with shields, we would scavenge in the Techno Shrines. But as John mentioned, we are scavenging the Arctic Research HQ because we are looking for Black Project mods, and you can see the notes here about how to increase those rarities. Now, again, a note for anyone that hasn't built these before, these are per BattleFly. So you'll see up in the top left here, this is BattleFly 18847, which was Thok that we were just looking at. So this are going to go to Thok. The mods as well as the marks are just for that particular person. So uh, BattleFly. So let's go ahead and do it. It's going to confirm. We're going to spend credits. Normally this would be magic. If you don't have credits, I have credits from my account, both from opening my daily mod packs, daily loot caches rather, as well as we have some for this. So here we go. Okay. Um, so this isn't very good to me, John.
No, no, not at all. No, no, but no, because why? At the beginning, when we have nothing, it's good to see at rarity. And here, the rarest one is a rare one. Is a sealed ammo. Is really a meta play. Something that prevents the mods of other. It's not something you build your BattleFly with. So I think we should use this very useful feature that called reroll.
Absolutely. And so, as John mentioned, we have this reroll over here. So, you generally speaking, especially the fresh, there are two times you're going to reroll a lot. Number one is when you're looking for that direction and you're just, like John said, chasing something to give you direction, a legendary or an epic that you can build around. Or when you're looking for a specific element to fill out your build. I have a cryo build, for example, and I'm looking for weapons that shoot fast. I'm going to be rerolling a lot looking for fast weapons. So, it will cost 50 nectar to do a reroll here. And this is also something to note. A lot of players like to have sort of this magic number. It's just under 300 nectar. So 300 makes you safe for sure. I think it's like 280, 285. And that is going to be enough for rerolls and the upgrade, which we'll get to shortly. So we're going to reroll this. Again, the reason being that these are two commons and a rare. The rare is not bad, but it doesn't give us a strong direction. It's just sort of a resistance. It's more of a counter play than a direction. So we're going to reroll here. Okay, so looking a little
Aha.
better. What do you think of
Yes.
this sharp armored components? This obviously being the better mod of the pack here.
Yeah, so it's a cool mod. It spikes. It transforms you into a hedgehog. You make damage to the opponent every time he attacks you. So this is very useful because it's a loss of hit points. So that bypass shield. Every BattleFly has two modes of defense: shields and hit points to main. And actually, when you bypass shields, it's good to have all your guns bypassing shields. That's why you just ignore it. Like your opponent can stack as many shields as he wants. You just go around it. So that's one option. one option would be to take the sharp armored component, and then we can move to fusion guns because fusion guns bypass shields. Another option will be for a first fly. That's what I will do, but I'm a risk taker. Would be to continue rolling to try to get a legendary. But it's really about your risk your risk profile here.
Absolutely. And so we have a question in the chat actually as we go through here. What are the rarity of the mods and what colors are they represented by? That's an awesome question. So thank you for bringing that up. So there are first we have our core mods, which you're not going to see in packs. Core mods are what Battleflies spawn with. They're sort of their basics. They're what you need to get into the Hyperdome, but we're never going to offer you core mods because they are intentionally kind of weak. They're sort of your starter weapons, right? You have your common mods, which you can see represented by white here. That's the next level up. They're often going to be very similar to core mods in terms of their functionality. They're going to be very basic, things that do damage, things that prevent damage, right? Um, they're going to be in white. You have the uncommon on the left here, which is going to be in green. That's the next level up. Here's where we'll start to see some more technical plays. You can see here, for example, this is one that does minus 40% damage to opponent's shield. So this is a strong weapon that's weak against shields, right? So this is where you start to decide, am I facing a lot of armor? Am I facing a lot of different sort of builds that I want to leverage this against? Rare is blue. We saw that one in the first pack. That's going to be where we get a little bit more powerful. Rares are where you start to really see competitive Battleflies focusing around. Um, Rares are a good place to have your sort of loadout at. Epic is what you see on the screen right now. That's your next one up. It's purple. It is the second highest tier, and Epic are good. They're just good. You're happy with them. There are plenty of leaderboard flies that are placing with Epic. You often won't even bother to reroll an Epic to get up to the Legendary, which is our top level, and those are represented by sort of a yellow orange, which is definitely something we're going to be looking for while opening packs today. So thank you for that question. So John, do you think this is a strong enough angle to take here, or do we want to keep rolling and maybe look for something that's a little more
Uh,
offensive or
Yeah,
focused?
exactly. These days, especially when you have a lot of nectar and you have the golden mark, I think it's worth tempting the devil, as we say. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
would reroll. I would
Yeah,
definitely reroll.
and I think if this number here said 1 reroll remaining, we'd have to think twice, but we get 4 more chances, so it's definitely worth
Yeah,
seeing what's coming up.
yeah.
Okay.
So we sometimes, even if you get a Black Ops mark that specialize in utility, it's only 83% chance. So here we have roll in the 17% chance. We get a Black Ops actually, but it's a common one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a can be better. Let's move out.
Yeah, I think here's where you see an example of we did get our Black Project mod from our Hunter's Mark, and we got a rare mod from our Scavenger's Mark, but sometimes those don't overlap. So this particular gun, I just want to call out. This is an interesting gun, and it deals a capped amount of damage. So if we saw this at like Epic, we might want to consider building around it. But at rare, we're going to keep looking. Okay.
Okay,
Um,
can you?
yep.
Mhm.
Go ahead, John.
So yeah, you can see here the rarest one, the gold-plated CPU, is giving 8% missile damage. So that's what I mean when you say like focus on the utility, because if you decide to take this one, then you know you want to go missile. There is 5 types of weapons. Missile is one of the types, and then the same way we focus on a certain type of utility, we can focus on a certain type of weapon. So we have to reroll. I guess. I mean, get some prayer to all the gods of luck, and let's try to get some epic or legendary here. I like the yellow color.
Yep, I like this one as well. I think this is a good mod, and I think that if we had already taken some missiles, we would probably go ahead and take this. But since we're still looking for some strong direction, this isn't enough of a pull. So we're gonna roll again.
Yep,
Well, we see our sharp armor components. So
he's
remember how I
back.
said
I
we'd
think
have to
it's a sign.
consider them? We'd have to consider them more seriously if we only had one reroll remaining. So
Yeah, I
here,
think it's a sign.
yep, you think so? You think this is a good enough choice here?
Yes.
All right.
We
So
got it 2 times. We have only one reroll left. So
all right. So John says we should go with this one. So you'll notice as I click on this, there are 2 options here. We have keep me and then we have upgrade rarity. Now, I have some upgrade credits from opening my my daily caches, but the upgrade rarity gives you a chance to move up in rarity. So remember how we went through those rarities before, from core all the way up to legendary? Everything except for legendary is going to have this option, and you have a 1 in 8 chance when you click this upgrade rarity of paying your nectar, I believe it's 35, and you have a 1 in 8 chance to upgrade it to the next level up, and you have a 2.5% chance, so about 1 in 50 chance, 1 in 40 chance of upgrading to the 2 levels higher. We can't go 2 levels higher on this one because there's only 1 level above this. But if this was a rare, we have a about a 2% chance of going up twice. So generally speaking, you always want to click that upgrade rarity. So we are going to click it. Doesn't work out, 1 in 8. Statistically, that makes sense. Now you'll also notice we don't have the option to re-roll or recycle this mod pack anymore. We didn't touch on recycle, but basically, if you get through all of your re-rolls, this is just a way to say, let me get 20 nectar. I'm going to discard this pack. There's nothing in it for me, and get 20 nectar back so I can work towards some of these re-rolls and rarities. You'll notice our options here now. We can continue to try to upgrade rarities or keep any of the mods in here, or we can just keep this one. So we are going to keep this, and we are going to go ahead and place it in one of our empty slots. So we got our first mod. Thing you'll notice here is that we are still on this mod pack. You can purchase more than one mod out of a pack. The first mod in the pack is included as the cost of opening the pack. You get to see all three, do all your rerolls, and see as many as you'd like, just as we saw. Now you're done with re-rolling this pack. You can't modify this pack any further. But if you like, you can still pay an additional 5 magic or to take another one out of this pack. So if we had like two really good legendaries here we both wanted, we still get the opportunity to keep both. We obviously do not want these common mods though. So we're going to go back to mission control, and we're going to take a look at Thok over here. And
Mhm.
we can now go ahead and change our loadout, and we're just going to get that equipped. So down the left here, you'll see we have our 2 weapon slots, our defense slot, and then our utility slot. And we're going to go ahead and equip that, and then click on apply this
Let,
loadout.
let, let's have a read at this mod so
Yep.
we see what we build from here and why.
Yeah. So I'll read it and then you can give me your thoughts, John. So this is an Epic Black Project mod. Each time you suffer an attack, your opponent loses 13 HP. Loss of HP is not affected by armor, evasion, or shield. So suffer there being basically anytime you are dealt damage or inflicted an attack by any source from your opponent, you're going to deal them 13 damage. So what sort of things are we looking for to supplement this?
So exactly. So that means that we have two things to know to build around. One is that it's best if all the damage we inflict is not affected by shields, because shields need to be depleted before hit points or hull can be attacked. So if this is automatically doing damage to hull, so if our guns or buff weapons are also doing damage directly to hull, that means any opponent which has a lot of shield, we just totally ignore it, which is wonderful. And know that every BattleFly anyway starts with 200 shields. So even somebody not focusing on shields will have shields. So that's a big call for fusion gun. Like the 4 types of weapons, they all have strong points, some specificities. You have a good infographic linked by Kuma. And fusion guns are the one who have most of the ignore shield features. That also means a second thing is that because every time opponent attack us, we damage it, we want to be as resilient as possible. We want to be capable to withstand as many attacks as possible. So another angle of action here will be to lower the damage of the opponent, so we make sure that it takes more time to kill us. And therefore, he hurt himself a lot in the process.
Makes sense. So what I'm
Um,
getting out of that is we want two things. Number one, we want to directly damage opponents' HP using fusion weapons. And number two, we want to have really strong defenses so we can outlast them and let our uh, HP drain take effect.
correct,
All
correct.
right.
Uh,
And go ahead, John.
so So yeah, we can change the mark now because we got our black project mods. We sorted. So it's a good time to change the mark and apply a fusion or an armor because we
Mhm.
might want to go armor here. But fusion, since it's 2 slots, let's get started with fusion. I think it's a good move.
I agree, and I think that we also the armor, if we see a good armor in a pack, we'll pick it up anyway, but the fusion is something we're chasing more, right? There's a lot of
Yep.
defensive options that could help us, but the fusion choices we're looking for are pretty narrow, so, it'll warn us that we're going to replace it, so just a note, you only get 1 Hunter's Mark at a time, so we're gonna replace it. And then somebody had also asked in the chat, how is this a beacon fly? That was just a little shorthand I was using. This is a regular BattleFly. There's nothing special about it, but this wing art in particular, you can see this graphic here. It's a beautiful design, and it corresponds to one of our friends in the treasure ecosystem, a game called Beacon. And we have wing art that we do with some of our partner projects and other games in the community. So that is one of them. And Beacon is sort of uh, just, it is just the design. It is a partner project. So it means nothing else. So we're ready to scavenge now. Our mark has been updated to fusion, and that means that we are going to be looking in desert subs. So this place, as you can see, has a 50% chance of finding our fusion mod, and with our hunter's mark, we are upping that all the way up to 83%. So we're going to go ahead and
Let's not forget a prayer to Timora.
open that. Okay. So we do see a fusion mod, but it is quite weak. But I think this is a good opportunity, Jean, where we can take a look at how these fusion mods work because it's a little weird at first. You'll see it does 0 damage per second and 0 damage. So what does this do? How come it doesn't do any damage?
Yeah, exactly. That's that's a tricky one. So this is a rad blaster. What it does, it gives a rad effect to your opponent when he hit it. So every 5 seconds, indeed, you do 0 damage, but the opponent will have a radiation effect that will start devouring it and destroying it slowly, and then it will take cumulative damage every second after that. So again, that goes with this idea of outlasting opponent until both the attacks it delivers to you is killing him with your spikes and the radiation is just melting him away. That would
Absolutely.
be a good mod for us, but definitely not as a common variety.
Agreed. And I also want to notice the very last line here. There's two last sentences in this. Effect stacks. So the more of these you do, the longer you get to attack. Every 5 seconds, you're going to apply another stack. So that means that you're going to do at first 5.5 damage per second, and then 11, and then 16.5, and so on. So the longer the game goes, the more damage you do. And the second thing there ignores armor and shields, which fits right into what John was talking about before, how our spikes, if we go down here and check our inventory, we can take a look at our spikes. This also, the loss of HP isn't affected by armor, evasion, or shields. So both of these go right through your opponent's shields and armor, and that's exactly what we're looking for. But we want something a little more powerful. So we're going to go ahead and re-roll this, but this is the type of effect we're looking for. Okay.
Oh
So
ho!
we have a few interesting items here, Jean. The EMP blaster is definitely a spicy one in and of its own, and the micro black hole turbine it isn't a rad damage, but it does do direct damage. So, do you want to go over
Correct.
both of these?
Yeah, yeah. So the EMP blaster stops opponent weapons and shield recharge. It's very good. It doesn't make much damage, but basically it slows down opponents. The thing is that with us, we don't want to slow opponents' attack. We want him to attack as many times as possible. So it could be a great pick, but not with his utilities. That highlights the fact that getting a good utility, getting a utility and building around it is very good. It's very important. Um, and the black hole turbine is doing direct hit point damage a percentage. So that's the stronger you are, the harder they fall. Whatever amount of hit points your opponent has, it's taking a flat 16%. It's a kind of tax officer mode. So it could be good for us because it's ignore shields.
Absolutely. So, John, in your opinion, would you re-roll here? Now, this is a rare, so it's good, and we could try for the upgrade on rarity. It kind of fits with our theme, or are you thinking that it's just better to start stacking rads unless we see maybe a higher rarity version of this later on.
I made a prayer to Timora, and we have 4 rerolls left, and we have a gold mark. So again, I would try my luck.
Excellent. And I think this is another thing you'll notice is that it actually pays to be a little greedy with these rerolls. Like you don't want to go too far down. You saw us stop with one left and take something that we felt okay about. We passed it the first time, but the second time it came back around, we did take these sharp armored components. So they weren't our first pick. They weren't our most exciting thing. So it's that balance, right? If, for example, if we saw this on our last reroll, we'd probably take it. But
Yeah,
we have four
definitely
left.
take it. Yes.
All right. So we
Ah,
see an
we
uncommon
increase.
Rat Blaster. We're moving in the right direction, but I
That's
think that
sometimes your roll sucks. That's happened. Sometimes
abs
you open bad packs. So, as we say in French, c'est la vie.
c'est la vie. And if this again was our last roll, we would take this. We wouldn't be disappointed with this, but we have three more packs, so we're going to keep going. Okay.
Oh, come on! Did you make your prayer, Gyro?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I will send RNG prayers to all the appropriate uh,
Pantheon.
BattleFly deities. Um, So yeah, so again, nothing super exciting from this pack. We see another common Rad Blaster. The monofilament spinner, not a bad weapon, but we are looking to bypass shields. So again, nothing really exciting here. We just
Yeah,
keep on these you just keep re-rolling. At
yeah.
this point,
It's your
Benjamin,
last. It's your last one.
yep. So at this point, we're going to take from this pack anything that does sort of rad damage. We're going to try for an upgrade re-roll if there's anything that does rad stacks, or if we see that black hole turbine, we'll take it. Okay. Um,
Hmm.
So to me,
Okay,
Jean,
we
what
get.
stands out
Yeah,
are the shields and the armor actually, to me, more than the
exactly.
railgun.
Yeah, exactly. So railgun is super cool gun, but it's an 8 second reload, so it's a very slow gun. It's better to go on certain builds. But here we have actually the wasteland seals, which gives evasion versus fusion. That means it's a specialized armor, which is very efficient against fusion. And actually, we are rolling for fusions, and this is where knowing the metagame helps a little bit. There is another fusion gun, a bomb actually, who damage both players. So having this will open the play on this bomb also. So yeah, here I would definitely go with a Wasteland Seals. It's a very good armor. This
Cool.
will be better at a higher rarity, but yeah.
For sure. And one thing I want to call out here too is that most armor gives only armor. You'll see on the right side of these. So far, we've been looking mainly at the weapons, and you can see again their DPS, their reload speed, their damage and burst, and we'll get into those a little bit more when we actually select one. But you'll notice on the defensive mods here, these armor mods and shield mods, they have three fields: armor, evasion, and shield. And you'll notice here the Serrano armor, it only has armor and no shield. Most of our shields only have shield and no armor. So the Wasteland Seal is unique in that it provides armor and shields, and I believe it's only one of two defensive mods that provide that sort of benefit, John, is that right?
Yes, correct.
Cool. So, as always, we're gonna try to upgrade this rarity. We don't hit it, um,
Oops.
but we're gonna go ahead and keep this. So, this is one of those times where it is definitely better than our core mod, so we are happy to pick it up. We're going to place it into an
Yep.
empty slot here, and we are going to continue moving on. So we're just going to go ahead because we're still looking for fusion. We know that we have
Yep.
the correct marks equipped. So we're going to go ahead and go into just right into scavenge another and go ahead back into desert subs. So go through that process here. Okay, so here we see an epic version of a micro black hole turbine, as well as a couple other weapons we probably don't want. How do you
Mhm.
feel about taking this one right out the gate, or are we still going to be a little risky on our rolls here?
A
What are you
little bit
thinking?
cheeky. Yeah, the thing is that it really depends on your profile. I am somebody who try my luck when I have a gold mark. It depends on the budget as well. Like how many booster we have, how many mod packs we have. We're opening 4. We're opening 5.
I think we are opening as many as we need to build out this fly, but we're going to try to keep it to what we expect somebody to build on. So we're thinking like 4, 5, 6, something in that range. We're not going to hard lock at 4, but yeah, we're not going to go crazy here.
Okay, I see. So yeah, with flush with nectar and lots of reroll and gold mark, I will reroll because the uh, the best gun we could have is a rat blaster for this sweet damage over time damage.
Hmm.
And we could get a turbine. It could work. So yeah, let's go. Let's be economical and open as few mod pack as possible.
Yeah, before we go through this, I mean, I'm curious, what are people in the chat, what would you guys do with a pack like this? Because
Ah,
I
yeah, good question.
I'm very conservative. Uh, Kay asked if we're searching for a specific fusion weapon. So we have currently in our inventory taken a defensive mod, sorry, a utility mod called Sharp Armored Components. So we are looking for something that does direct HP damage. This is something that does direct HP damage. Generally, though, we are looking for the rad blasters and things that apply the stacks of rad damage, just because they work a little bit better with the sort of lasting a long time while taking a lot of hit strategy that we're going for. The micro black hole turbine really pairs best with itself because you want the rad stacks on each other. So the black hole turbine is a little bit narrower, which is the real downside to this. So
True. I have to mention as well that we went already with a sharp armored component with a narrow build. Like you have some utilities which are much more generalistic. So that's a thing. It's not always as specialized in the hunt. It really depends of your utility mod. In this case, I want to optimize. Of course, we want to optimize this BattleFly as much as possible. So we narrow down a lot the what is best.
mhm. So I see we got here coffee attack says upgrade to open more packs. SJR says upgrade rarity try if that was the weapon that they were after. Adam would take that perp. Whereas we have K, it is only showing me the first letter of some people's names, K saying to roll again. Um,
Yeah, I think. Well, takes that perp upgrade.
all right, so you want to go with the chat here and try for the upgrade rarity here and see if we get
Yeah,
it?
yeah. We listen to the audience, of course.
Ooh. All right, so we didn't get the upgrade rarity. That's okay. We are halfway through being owed one, so to speak. But we're gonna go ahead and keep this, and that definitely gives us a lot of direction on what we're looking for now for our future mods. We're gonna place that
True.
into an open slot. Of course, again, if we wanted to keep either of these other weapons, we can do so. Um, Also, something to note here is that you can try for an upgrade on your rarity here and see if you get it. So, like, if this was something that was maybe something we might want, like a shield, but it was rare and we weren't sure if we wanted it, we could try for the upgrade rarity and see if we get it. We're not going to do that here because we
Yeah.
don't need to.
Speaking of this, so there are ways to really screw. Not just I want to speak about the lightning probe. There are ways to screw builds. For example, is going to opposite direction. Like we see that we have a utility mod that inflicted point damage, and we see that the electric probe that Jyro was on it. It's a gun actually that is worst against shields, so it takes longer to damage opponent shields. So equipping this with a sharp armored component will be like the worst you could possibly do. You have on one way you attack a HP bar, and on another way you attack the shield bar very slowly. So you get the worst of both worlds.
We call those nombos. You're familiar with
No,
that term,
yeah,
John? So
yes.
that's a nombo. It's the opposite of a combo. So, um, all right, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back to mission control really quick, and we're going to take a peek and just change our loadout to see where we're actually sitting here. So we're going to go ahead and equip our black hole turbines to our first weapon slot here, and then we're going to go in and we're going to go ahead and put that shield on. I'm just clicking equip and then clicking apply this loadout, and it lets me know that I did that. So we go back and we can see we have, I have to refresh here to see that last one. Equip, apply this loadout, please. Thank you. There we go. So you can see that we have these things equipped, and this is what we're looking. So the obvious thing we are missing here is hunter missiles, and we certainly
Mhm.
wouldn't hate picking up a better defense in the meantime.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and head into the fusion mods again, John. That sounds right to you?
Yes, exactly. in the desert. There is a lot of old fusion weapon under the sands.
Well, here we do see that
Ah,
Rad Blaster come through a little late. Um,
no,
so
it's okay.
yeah,
Black Hole and Rad Blaster work together, no problem. One will do the DOT, another will remove chunks of HP. That works. That works.
that is a good one to pick up. Definitely, obviously,
Yeah,
getting them stacking on top of multiple rads is good, but they all go right through that defense, like we mentioned. So, I mean, we're just going to take this, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you get the right pick, and
Absolutely.
the upgrade will
So
be even better.
we're going to upgrade. Yep. Didn't get that either. That's okay. But we're going to go ahead and put that into our last empty slot here. Um, yeah. So we could theoretically, with the BattleFly that we've got going on here, change this loadout and go to the second weapon slot here and equip that Rad Blaster and apply. Now this Battlefly, it's looking pretty good. We've only opened 4 mod packs. Now, granted, we did use up Nectar on these marks. Um, but Nectar is very easy to earn. You can earn it in our newly released free-to-play Proving Grounds, which is a great place to try out these builds. It's where this is going to go right away because it is still a larva. So it needs to earn its Hyperdome entry by playing in the proving grounds. So this would be perfectly good to just go ahead and play. Even I would say somewhere in like Monarch or Low Predator. This could do well.
Yep,
Um,
correct.
so John, what do we think here? Do we want to open one more
Well,
pack?
we just opened 4 packs, so yes, I will definitely open a
Try and
fifth
get
one.
that.
It's okay. It's for
Absolutely, I agree.
yeah, like the cherry on the cake.
So let's go ahead and switch our hunter's mark because again, that's very cheap to do. I don't
Yep.
always recommend going for a scavenger's mark. They're good, but they're not really totally necessary. Like I said, even the bronze one's a good value at just 75, but always go for the hunter's mark if you're looking for something in particular. So John, armor or shields are we looking for here?
So that's an important strategic choice.
Hmm.
Our sharp armored component is damaging enemy every attack. That means if we face a battlefly with very fast attack, we will inflict a lot of damage to him. If on the opposite we meet somebody with a very slow guns, like either shooting every 8 seconds or 10 seconds, the mod will almost do nothing. So we have 2 options: or we go all in against fast mid-speed attackers and we have armor because armor is subtracted to every attack. So if we have a strong armor plus sharp, when we meet somebody with a quick machine gun, we will just destroy it. We take very little damage and we inflict a lot of damage in return. But on the other way, if we face a slow shooter with a sniper style, railguns, and so on, who will be wrecked? Because armor is not efficient against huge damage, and sharp armor component is not efficient against huge damage as well. So it's really the option of going, if we go armor, we go all in, and we will win some battles super easily, but we will lose others with no chance of success. Or we can round our build and going shields. That's where we have a good defense against slow guys and a good defense and a good offense defense against fast attacks. So
Do you think
that
it's
would
more
require,
important
yeah.
do you think it's more important to have a good chance against a broad field, or do you think it's more important to take a really sort of pointed strategy and try and dominate with it?
It depends of the league you are fighting. When you start to be
Mhm.
in the high leagues, you really want to understand the meta and read who wins the leaderboard. And anyway, if you are playing competitively BattleFly in Apex, you will check who wins every day, what is their build, and then you will be like, okay, these days, uh, stealth it's very popular, so we definitely want shields. But when we start in the proving ground like that, I think a all-round build can work because that's where we taste. So again, it's a bit your profile. What would you choose, guys? Would you choose to be super specialized, an anti-machine gun killer, or like to have something more broad?
Yeah, and so a question in the chat here. So shield is good against slower, big damage weapons. It's more that armor isn't good against it. It's because armor deducts a flat sort of amounts from every attack, and if they don't attack frequently, you don't get that effect a lot. Whereas shield is almost like a whole extra bar of health points on top. And so it doesn't really matter how often they attack. It's sort of a just like general way to absorb a lot of damage. So that's kind of the trade-off there. So it's not that shield is good against those, it's just that armor doesn't do anything against those. Because if you let's say that your opponent uses like a nuke, right? We have nukes in the game that deal, 300, 400 damage. Deducting 20 from that doesn't help. Whereas if somebody's running a machine gun and they're dealing 10 damage, 10 damage, 10 damage, 10 damage, deducting 7 damage from that is really good, right? Because you're taking off tons of damage. So go all rounder, go for shield. Since I'm new, I want to be broad and cover all my bases. And Kuma also says that's the route I'd go. So everybody here thinks we want to be more balanced, and I agree with that. I think it's good to cover your bases until you're at that high level. So it sounds like
Yep.
we're taking shield if
Mhm.
that's the strategy, right, John?
Yep. Yep. Correct.
All right. So we are going for this. As usual, it will remind you that you can only have one at a time. We are absolutely okay with that. And now we're going to go scavenge some shield mods. And I believe the shield mod is I forgot the name of it. It is oh yeah, that's right. We were speaking about it before the techno shrines. That's why I couldn't quite remember.
Ah, but the shrines.
Yes, and so just
The art
also
inspired by Myanmar.
what's that?
We go Asia. We go Asia for the finding shields.
Yes, yes, John. We were
South
visiting you
Asia.
out in Seoul. Um, but yes, and also just a quick reminder: all these art pieces are also art that can be found on our Wastelands NFTs, and Wasteland holders are currently getting a percentage of anybody who's doing this scavenging. They're receiving payouts to as a reward for contributing to hosting these mods and being the places where we scavenge. So we're going to go ahead and click scavenge now and spend one of our credits here. Okay, so nothing exciting here. This is a pretty clear reroll to me. I don't know if we need to think too hard on it.
Oh, no, 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 not. Especially we have already an uncommon, so there is definitely nothing to pick here.
hmm but you can see again how I mentioned that most shield mods have only shield and no armor, and this is all of the force shields. There are three varieties have that effect. So we're gonna go ahead and reroll. Okay. So we do see a rare shield here.
Hmm.
Um, we're not taking a flat gun, and obviously the common is just better, worse than the rare shield. So this shield is fine in my opinion. It is, and we can check down here. Remember, you can check your inventory, so we can see here we currently have a 2 armor and 45 shield with a boost against evasion, and we would be exchanging it theoretically for a no armor and 125 shield with a 2% max recharge per second. So this
So it's
one
yeah,
definitely fits into that long strategy if we're going to be gradually healing, I feel like.
yeah, but we have four rerolls, and it's our kind of cherry on the cake mod pack. So I would definitely not settle for anything less than an epic with a gold mark.
All right. We're going to keep looking
But
for something.
we could take it. We
Right.
definitely could take it.
If we saw that in the last reroll, we'd be more than happy to take that for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So here again, we have some things that we're not really looking for. We're not going to go over every mod that we see here, but this is another, sort of there are some broad utilities that we can look at as well. This one just increases all your damage by 10%. It's pretty straightforward
Uh,
in
yeah,
comparison to
that's
something
why.
like the
That's
ACS probe.
sorry, Gyro.
Yeah.
That was an example I'm giving. Like if you roll your first utility and you roll this Rage Against the Nanomachine in Legendary, then of course you take it, and then the rest of your mod selection will be very broad because you just have like you do more damage. So that's what I was saying. Well, like some utility will put you in a very specialized position, while some utility will just open so many builds for you. It will be very generic. So it really
So
depends of your pick.
I love Rage Against the Machines mod. Is what I kind of wanted to shout out to. It is so straightforward that it is a joy to build around because you don't get, really too caught up. You can kind of just take the rarest, coolest thing you see from most of your mod packs. That being said, on the other hand, we have something like the ACS probe, which is perhaps one of our most complicated effects, and we're not going to explain it right here because it's its own whole thing. But building around this is basically the opposite of building around Rage Against the Machines, where this just says
Yeah.
I hit harder, and this one says I do 9 different things, and you have to figure out how to make it work. So we're gonna re-roll here. We are looking for something different. perhaps one of the fan favorites in mods right now is cryo armor, um, or ammo. Sorry, cryo ammo, but does not work with what we are doing. That's for sure.
Yes, that's why you starting with utility is best. This utility, if you have it, you want to have very fast guns. And so, like we had to focus on fusion, but for this one, you don't really care about the damage type, but you care about the speed. You want to apply this effect as many times as possible, because the more you attack your opponent, the more you have chance to freeze him.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, we're re-rolling here because this is
yeah,
literally the thing that we have.
this is the same. Yes.
Okay, so we see a
Ah,
strict upgrade now to our Wasteland seals. This is just the rare version. It is better. We get that
yeah.
evasion
And we
versus
have only
fusion.
one reroll left.
Mhm. So I think here we are probably going to go ahead and say that we want to take this rare shield, I assume.
What you guys will do? Well, are you taking the risk and do the last reroll, burning your last reroll and pray?
That is, yeah,
Or
that is the degen question. Is like,
gamble?
Coffee Texas Gambo. Gambler, I'm re-rolling. Kuma's conservative. Nick is also taking the re-roll. So Kuma is perhaps all or nothing baby, says Adam. So yeah, seems like we have primarily speculative rollers here in the chat. So I mean, I'm okay with that.
Degenerates.
I'm not even against that. And I think what we're committing to here when I re-roll here, and I might, is I'm saying I'm okay with opening another mod pack, right? If I don't get what I need here, I might go ahead and go through another mod pack, is what I would normally be saying. I don't know if we will. We'll see what we get, but it does seem like the consensus is that we are
There is
gamblers.
like 10% chance or something, or 15% chance or plus to get a rare plus. So I mean, the stats are not with us as the probabilities.
Sure. I think that, yeah, I mean, it depends on what we're looking for sure, but we're going to click it and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if we get paid off. We definitely
Yes,
do
for
not get
sure.
paid off here. uh, so what we can do, and here's what I'm going to say, is in a situation like this is what I do is this force shield right here. We have a 2.5% chance of a double upgrade, which would move this from a common up to a rare. I'm going to personally always click to upgrade rarity on this because, and now if you're starved on nectar, you can see that I have a good pouch of nectar because I've been running battles on this account for a long time. If you have no nectar, I think now is a great time to click recycle mod pack. If you are
Cool.
flush with nectar, if you've been playing a lot of racer, if you've been playing in the free to play hyper grounds, proving grounds, sorry, clicking upgrade rarity here, and I'm going to, is free. If this turns into a rare, we're gonna take it. If it doesn't, it costs us 35 nectar and we're gonna move along. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna click this button, John. That's the kind of play that I would make here.
Yeah, of course. Go on. Yeah.
So we do get the
Ah.
upgrade and we only hit a single upgrade. So now we have a choice. Which of these do we want to keep? Which of these two? Because they are both the same rarity. So now we're just picking which of these fits our strategy better. I kind of think the force shield does because it recharges, but I'm curious what you think, Sean.
It's worth noting that the sharp armored component provides some armor, some degree of armor. I forget
Mhm.
what Epic gives, but not much, but a little bit. Yeah, I mean, running the Wasteland Seal will make us ultra specialized versus fusion, and we don't really. Yeah, I would rather go broad, and of course, at equal rarity, get the shield. Yes.
Cool. So yeah, and I mean here we're gonna take this no matter what, because if you'll notice when I click on keep me, you're gonna see that we still have some of these core mods in our inventory. One thing I want to call out here is that if you fill up your inventory with all really good stuff that you like, you can purchase additional mod slots. These can be purchased using magic, G-Fly, or by burning treasures. I won't get too much into that, but if you need more inventory space, you can do so. We have this Serrano armor here. It's a core mod, so we're going to go ahead and overwrite our Serrano armor with our force shield, and we're going to place it in that slot. And that is going to, we don't want any of these. These missiles are fine, but obviously don't fit with what we're doing. So we're going to go back to mission control. That was sort of our extra guy there, and we're gonna go ahead and change our loadout, go over to our shield, and we're gonna equip this and apply this loadout. And yeah, I mean, so obviously, there is certainly nothing wrong with if you're not happy with the shield, it's clearly our weakest point. We can see that just from a quick look. Going ahead and continuing to open packs. But at this point, we spent 5 packs into this. We got 3 really good weapons or mods, and we have one okay shield. It's not super exciting. It's definitely if we get a mod pack from our daily rewards or from completing a mission, or if we maybe win a leaderboard and want to spend some extra, or if we just want to buy another pack, this is what we're going to replace. But I think this is ready to go into the proving grounds and we can start building on our second one. So we're going to click here. I'm going to set this to 100 battles. We're going to enter into the proving grounds. And we are going to go through our second one a little bit faster. So I'm going to go back to mission control. We actually get to see our staking process here now that I've been credited with some magic. I'm assuming that's from Jyro, so thank you. Do you want to battle with Koliana EA or Tharinai Sidar, John?
Very nice, said I. Sounds like an IA voice.
Tharinai Sidar. All right, let's go with that one. So you can see these are unstaked. I'm going to go ahead and stake them. That is going to actually initiate a MetaMask transaction. I don't know if that's going to show up on our screen, but that's going to go through. And it's going to be an actual blockchain interaction. We are staking that into the BattleFly game so that we can move it into staked mode and actually battle with it.
Uh, so, sorry, Gyro. Did you take attendance for the mod pack?
Did we get, sorry?
Taking attendance.
Oh, yes. John, why don't
Atten-
you do that while we're staking? Why don't you go ahead and do the attendance? So we are going to be giving away stuff, BattleFlies, mod packs. I'm not sure what we're giving away here, but we're giving away stuff. Um, and we're going to
it's a mod
be,
pack.
it's a mod pack. Excellent. Where is our guy that we just put in there? Here we go. Tharine Sedar. All right, this looks like it is a llama something, llama squat, llama something. So I see the word llama in there um, as one of our partner projects. So we're gonna go through this one a little quicker. I'm just gonna go ahead while John is taking attendance and equip a gold scavenger mark here. And Jean, let's try and build something that's not fusion in this one.
Yep,
So
sure,
last
for
time for the
sure.
Hunter's Mark, we started out with Black Project. What is the alternative to Black Project? Would you say ammunition, perhaps?
Yeah, ammunition for sure. Yeah,
I think that's where the rest of a lot of utility mods are, right? Like Cryo
yeah,
is an ammunition mod,
exactly.
for example.
Cybernetics is more generic. So if you're not really sure, you don't really know all the mods and so on. Cybernetics is a safe pick. You have more generic bonuses.
Cool. So we're going to go ahead and click on ammunition. We're going to buy that mark. And I see a question about the rarity of battle flies. Yeah, so right now, rarer battle flies have traits, and you'll see them down in the bottom left. I will really quickly navigate over to a rare battle fly that I have. You'll see down in the bottom left of the screen, it says under traits. They are kind of small little bonuses that give you build around. So this one says +5 kinetic damage and -3 weapon reload, -3%. And so I have equipped 2 kinetic weapons. This is a kinetic mod. This is a kinetic mod, and my uh, utility increases kinetic weapon damage. So they're just sort of build around mechanics. These are kind of getting reworked as we go into season 2, but right now that is how they function. So the rare battleflies do give you just a little bit of a boost, but most of the battleflies that I have and that people will be running are commons and are going to just be uh, straightforward, an empty slate. So we are going to go ahead and scavenge those ammunition mods. So go into here, and ammunition is in the freight graveyard. Go ahead and open that. All right, so we do hit a rare sealed box. We saw that actually in our first pack, and it was we decided it wasn't a good. It's more of a counterplay sort of mod, and I think that's still going to be the case here. But we also see an uncommon cryo, which if we see this at rare or epic or definitely legendary, I think would be an auto take for sure, right?
Yeah, yes, for sure.
Okay. But this is a reroll to me, right, John? Like nothing super clear here on direction.
Absolutely, especially with 5.
Yep, with 5. Again, keeping this eye on this mod, these rolls remaining is important. So this not bad, but you can see that it's chance to resist freeze and EMP. And we don't, especially at the lower levels, we're not trying to meta game quite so hard. Nothing exciting here. We don't need to talk about when we see commons and uncommons. Basically, your eyes will see green and white, and you will click that reroll button, and we're going to do the same thing here.
Mhm.
Okay, so we actually see a black
Oh.
project mod here.
Mhm.
Jean, this says each time your electric attacks successfully inflict shield damage, regain 5% shield. And it can even restore shields that have been depleted, which is different. Normally, once your shield breaks or cracks, so to speak, it can't be recharged. But with this one, it can. So is this a build around me for electric weapons
It's
and for shield?
very these days is a very strong pick. It's a very meta play in Apex. It's working very well. That's another super specialized mod because we need both electric guns and we need shield. So when you take this, you know that your armor will be a shield. I mean, your defense slot will be a shield guaranteed because you need high shield to recharge them and you need 2 electric guns. So that really focus your build. That means that every time you see super specialized build, that's going to be probably more expensive BattleFly to build because you need such specialized mods. But at the same time, that can become extremely strong.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what do you think, John? Do we want to maybe try and really chase after some electric, or do you want to keep rolling here?
My with my understanding of the meta these days, nano go neural net is a very good winning rate, and it's a very good, very strong pick,
All
and
right.
totally different build than the one we did before. So I would say, yeah, good.
All right. We're gonna try for that upgrade. And we do get our upgrade here. This is a
Ooh.
very good upgrade to hit. So we are going to upgrade into a legendary black market, black project Nano Go NeuroNet number 5. What that did was it increased our shield recharge rate, and so that is even better. It's good. It's a good thing to get, as John mentioned. This is a apex level
Oh
mod to
yeah,
take here. So
this BattleFly is set for the build direction. It's very
absolutely,
clear. You have some leeway on the electric guns you equip because there is different electric guns that could do well. But for sure, we need shields. We need the
absolutely.
best shield we can pack on this one.
All right, and so let's go ahead and just equip this right away so we know we have it. And we are going to be scavenging now for electric. I mean, that's pretty straightforward because we want
Yep.
2 electric guns, and then we're going to follow up with shield. So let's get that electric hunter's mark on, and let us delve directly
And some
into,
monofilament spinners, as a hydro
absolutely,
plant.
head to the hydro plant and scavenge. Yes, 2 electric and 1 shield, exactly, that is what we're looking for. Cool, so we do start out with a rare electric mod. This one, +3 damage for each point of armor the opponent possesses. It has 20 damage per second. Pretty fast reload, so not
Yep.
bad.
Yeah, it's check the check or recheck the mod. Sorry, please, the electric.
So
So you have like each time your electric attack successfully inflicts shield damage. That means that you want to attack as fast as possible because every time an attack lands and inflicts shield damage, you recharge your own shields, even depleted. So we are looking at fast reload speed, and this gravity gun is a reload speed 2, which is super fast. So it's a very, very good mod for what we want to do.
Mhm. And is, however, I will say not one of the fastest in that these laser cannons at rare and further on like are very fast. They're not electric, of course, but 2 is pretty good in the electric category. I will note
Yep.
+3 damage for each point of armor your opponent possesses. So we are going broad again here in that this is going to be good against shields because when we inflict shield damage, we're going to get recharged. And it's going to be good against armor because it's a boost of damage against armor. So I think this is a nice broad weapon. Do you think we should take this, John, even though it's pack number 1 here? Roll number 1?
Yeah, I know. It's pack number 1. We have electric. So again, what about the risk taking? I I will take it. I will try to upgrade it and take it because we decide to have a budget of 5 mod pack, 4 5 mod packs. So we
Yeah,
want to build a very
I
good
think
BattleFly
I
from
think
the
this
get
is
go.
good. I don't think you need to be greedy. And what's nice about this too is that you're going to get carried a long way by this utility, and so we don't need legendary guns to get up into Predator with a build like this. So we're going to keep this, place in an empty mod slot, and we're going to go ahead and go scavenge another because we're still looking for another electric weapon, heading right back to the hydro plant.
What is interesting here also is that the effect of the net, the utility, will happen anyway related to speed. So having a rare instead of an epic, sure, it's good to make more damage, to do more damage for sure. But the effect of the utility is the same.
Okay, so we do see that ACS probe again that we saw before. But when I look at the ACS probe, what stands out to me is this 5 second reload speed. I don't think that's what we're looking
Exactly.
for.
Exactly. Yeah, it's too slow. It's inoculating a virus to your opponent is a great strategy for some builds, but definitely not for this one.
So we're gonna reroll this. So we get a good shield here, and we also get
Yeah,
the ACS probe. So too slow. We know we're not taking this, but I think I just try for the upgrade on this shield and be happy with that.
sure, sure. Like a force field Nix is a good stuff. Reference to Evangelion, by the way, for the fans of manga around here.
I didn't know that.
They have NX shields. Yeah,
Was there
all
an,
the shields have a Easter egg from a famous video game or manga.
and one thing to note
Yeah, get the
here
shield.
is that it says regain 5.5% of your shields. And so the bigger this number is right here, the more you're going to recharge. And the NX4 and the NX series are some of the higher shield values here. And you'll see that they also recharge on their own. So basically, every time we'll deal damage and every second, we're going to recharge 5.5 and 4% of our shield. So we're recharging like 10% of our shields every second. That's pretty good.
Yeah, like crazy. Yeah.
So we're going to go for the upgrade rate. I did, as you can see now, it says 35 nectar. I've run out of upgrade credits from my daily caches. So I'm going to go for the upgrade. We don't hit it. That's okay. We just hit it on a legendary, so we're not going to complain. We're going to keep this putting
Yes.
it into our empty mod slot. And we're going to go ahead, actually, head right into scavenge another because we still need another electric mod.
Correct.
So we do see the monofilament
Hey,
spinner here.
yeah, another good one. It's a
No, so
bit slower at 3 seconds, but it's
Mhm.
still good.
So for me, Jean, I looking at what we have here, these gravity guns, and the fact that it is 50% faster with that 2 second reload speed, and it
Hmm.
has a very similar DPS. Now, the monofilament spinner is obviously very good because it has a higher crit chance. So if you're building around a crit effect, obviously we're going to go with this. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking that I would reroll this pack because
You
this,
would
if
try
this
your luck?
was
Go on.
absolutely. If this was a epic or a legendary, I'd have to think twice. But here we got 5 rolls. Let's keep going.
Yeah, or if it was the last pick, if it was the last
Absolutely.
roll.
Absolutely. Well, that is
Ooh,
certainly better. That is
that
certainly
was a
better.
good gamble.
Okay. Well, that is just the next level up on our gravity gun. And actually, this is a good example, John, if we can take a look at the difference between the levels here. So
Hmm.
in this particular one, we can see that it actually adds on an additional 50 damage to every attack with a total then DPS upgrade of 5 because it shoots every 2 seconds. So we are going to be, it's actually a damage upgrade of about 25% over every second. So it's pretty good. And I think we're going to go ahead and try to just upgrade this and keep it, right?
20%, yes.
All right. So upgrade.
Roughly every rarity up is around 20% damage increase. Average. Can be 15, depending of the guns.
All right.
Okay, and we have a very swell build here.
We're going to go ahead and set this BattleFly up, change this loadout, equip our to this one, make sure that went through. Yep. On our second slot, we're going to put our rare, confirm that went through when I get the pop up. and make sure it's in there. And then we're going to go ahead and equip that shield. All right. So uh, we do have another BattleFly. And again, you can see this one, we spent 4 mod packs. That's it. 1 mod pack per slot. We didn't even re-roll that many times. I think we re-rolled, what, 4 or 5 times total between all of these mods because we hit these pretty
There's a
early
lot
on.
of lucky rolls on this one.
Absolutely. So this one cost 4 mod packs, a mark of each type. I think we did 2 of the Hunter's Marks, which again are very cheap, and a handful of rerolls. So this is exactly the kind of build that if you play in the free-to-play proving grounds, after just a month, you'll have enough nectar and enough mods from your daily loot caches to build something like this. And it's not hard to get something like this going. So we're gonna go ahead and drop this into the free-to-play proving grounds. And we're gonna go ahead and take a quick look back to mission control and check up on Thok before we kind of close out
Fuck.
here and see Thok has in fact won
Two
against
battles.
2 battles against Aramil and Borel. Let's take a quick peek at one of these battles here and we can see what this looked like. So if anyone doesn't know, you can go ahead and click on any of these battles by clicking on your Battlefly's name, and you can actually watch a replay of that battle. And so we're going to see, and actually we faced against somebody with a legendary howitzer mod as one of their things. So this is probably somebody that also opened up 1 or 2 packs here and found a legendary pretty early on. So Thok versus Borel. We have Thok here on the left in the orange shield. You can see
He gets
Thok
the shield
loses shield
destroyed.
absolutely very early. But oh, I think the screen just reloaded here. That was probably my
So
fault.
here
Just
you
something I
want on
clicked
the
out.
other side, on the side of our opponent of Borel, you want to see that his shield is not touched, but his health bar, his hull bar will just go down like crazy.
Yes.
He
So
will take
yes,
damage and more damage, and bye bye.
there you go. So yeah, we didn't even damage Borel's shield at all. You can see 255 out of 255 just shot directly at the hull, and our hull is halfway down. So you can see that Thok, Borel had to work through 300 points of shields to get to our hull, and we just did 420 damage directly to their hull. And they actually had some extra HP from one of their mods, and I think we can see perhaps what it did here. Some extra armor there. Not sure what's giving them the extra HP actually, but oh, here we go. Their howitzer gives them plus 5%
Yeah.
HP. So they actually even had a weapon that was good against us in terms of getting their HP up, and we were still able to win. So yeah, it's useful. Check your battle reviews, look through these combat logs and see what's working and what isn't. You can see the damage that was done when we're applying our different types of damage. You can see them taking radiation damage right there. And yeah, so that is what we're doing here. And you can see, when you build around a specific effect, when you go after direct damage on HP, you're going to be able to do direct HP damage. And I'm sure that if we were to go ahead and check out that other battle, we would see a similar result. So yeah, that is kind of our approach to building. Um, Jean, do you have any question? Actually, any questions that we have in the chat here about building attendance? We've already taken attendance. We took a screenshot or used a tool, I believe, that
Yep.
crawls Discord. So we have our attendance taken, and I believe Draft
Mhm.
is going to be handing out the mod packs. We'll be contacting you on Discord directly after, so we'll be doing that for sure. I don't personally have the mod packs to give out, so I cannot give them to you right now, but thank you for reminding me. There aren't all that many of you here, so hopefully we can give mod packs. We'll definitely give mod packs out to everyone in,
Mhm.
and maybe we'll see about anything else too. But definitely thanks for attending. Um, any
Yes, thanks a lot.
any questions? Like I said before we wrap up, and I get John's last thoughts about building. I'll kind of go ahead and look over our other battle flies here. We have our direct HP build, and we have our sort of more meta focused, I would say, like, what is trending right now, Nano Go Neuronet. What I like about this build, John, is that it's both of these have a clear thing to upgrade, right? Like we'd obviously be wanting to upgrade this rare as our next step,
Mhm.
perhaps into another gravity gun or like a epic monofilament or something like that, or
No,
legendary would be
electro, the
ideal.
electro blast zapper will do well as well.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So there's
Yeah.
a clear
Mhm.
if we were to scavenge one more pack here, we know exactly what we're looking for. And then same thing, if we were to scavenge one more pack on Thok, we know that we'd be looking for upgrading that shield. So it's nice to kind of have some clear direction.
Mhm.
Kuma asks, "What's your best tip for diversifying build types?" Kuma has a habit to learn on a certain build archetype, for example. So, yeah, what do you think about how do you learn and diversify? What do you approach to not just having one strategy?
Well, I look at the leaderboards. I
Hmm.
look at who win and with what. That is the best tip I can give. We have seen the meta change already a lot for month because it's been month and month now of testing. So yeah, look at these days the leaderboard is pretty varied. You have a lot of different builds that work well. You have, of course, a barrage build with the RB blasters working very well, where barrage is you shoot your opponent before the combat even starts or at the very beginning of the combat. But you have counterplay to that. For a while, stealth was doing very well as well. I think it's still doing quite good. Is you are invisible, so you have very high evasion at the beginning of combat, and then you until you shoot. And so build with 8-second weapon, like super slow weapons. You are shooting very little, but when you shoot, it drill a hole. Um,
Here's a stealth build
so then,
example you can see with our
yeah.
with a big emissary of the end nuke. So the plan here being, of course, to hide for the start of the battle. You are cloaked, and now you also notice that this is a very technical build, right? This has a very linear strategy. This BattleFly cloaks. They have high evasion to help protect them from any damage that they take from their own weapons as well as their opponents,
Mhm.
and their main weapon here being the Emissary of the End, which just does 500 damage in one single hit. And anytime both Battleflies would die, the tie goes to somebody with the highest evasion. And so this Battlefly either dodges the damage, or if it would be a draw because both dies, the evasion saves them. So you can see that this is very different from the other build we were just looking at.
Oh, it's more complicated because you have a virus provider as well with the I Love You Too probe. So yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is an extremely technical build, but again, if we, just looking at the leaderboards, there are a whole bunch of different builds here up at these different ranks, and you can, as John mentioned, take a peek and you can see something like this is just a little bit more straightforward, right? This is a crit
No,
build,
yeah, it's a
lots of
crit build,
crits,
yeah,
lots of crits, and this one's just got good
and
weapons, attacking armor.
yeah, and destroying armor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Destroys 1 point of opponent's armor per attack, ignores 25% of opponent's armor. So this weapon is looking to hopefully prey on anyone who's running armor as their defensive strategy. And that probably means that this person noticed that there is a lot of armor at the high ranks.
And there is a trait, and the trait was 20% crit as well. So he built around this trait.
There you go.
Mm.
That makes a lot of sense. Yep, you can see the crit damage. So this would be an uncommon fly with an extra trait. So yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a good way to diversify. Good call out there.
And yeah, you will see that all the winners have. I mean, most of the time is all different builds. So that's something we're very happy with. Is that you don't have one strategy to win. And you hear it's Phoenix protocols is getting popular these days. That resurrect you once you die one time.
Very
So
good
that
against things like
protects
nukes
against
because you
yeah alpha strikes
resurrect.
exactly.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that is good. Just there's a lot of things to choose from here. We've expanded our leaderboards. Here's one of my favorite builds, which is the cryo build. It's one that I'm running personally right now. And this is that freeze sort of effect that we spoke about before. So yeah, thanks for the question, Kuma. But yeah, look at the leaderboards, and I would also say to check out Flydex, which is a community made tool that it allows you to see all the different mods. I think it's up to date with the latest information, but that is in our official links, and you can check that out. And that'll give you just a list of all the different mods that you can find, and you can do some shopping and see what you might be looking for. Cool.
Yes,
All
and
right.
beware of the number, the word of the day.
Yes, watch out for nombos. Um, yeah, make sure you don't mix your strategies. If you're dealing HP, deal HP. If you're going after armor, go after armor. Cool. If there are no other
Excellent.
questions here, I think we are good to wrap up. Let's take one final look and see if we had any more battles on either of our. I'd love to see a battle on this. Nope. So the battles do come in every 15-minute increments, so we probably wouldn't see one for another 7 minutes. Oh, here we go. Came in. We got one at the 15-minute mark, which is perfect. So let's close out with watching a battle with our Neuronet gravity gun. And reminder, this strategy is going to be regaining shield. So we should be watching in these battles to see if our opponent damages our shield, and then we are able to. Oh, perfect. Here, we actually
As
first
the
this.
same guy.
It is the same
This-
guy, so we can see the different strategy play out differently against the same opponent. So that's actually a good comparison. All right.
So we will see our shield bar going down and up and down and up. And down a lot because he has a howitzer, it's a kinetic gun, so it makes a lot of damage to shields. So it's an
Mhm.
anti-shield gun.
So you can see our shield over on the left. We're doing our damage initially first, but you'll watch here. So it goes down to 140 and up to 158 and up to 190. So you can already see it going back down and up, down to 65, down to 30. And then hopefully it's going to climb back up here. Even after we're cracked, it's going to go up. We don't get a chance to recharge. We just kill them. But yeah, you can see how
Go for the
little
kill.
hull damage we took here just because we were able to recharge our shields. We regained I mean, you can check the battle log and see, but our shield regain is in here. But you can see regain 16 shields, regain 16 shields, regain 16, regain 16, 16, 16. So we regenerated probably a good 100 to 200 shields, somewhere over 100 shields in that battle. Um,
I had just to finish with the anecdote. I had a ticket for this because two opponents with both nanogo neuronets. The combat was going so long that he entered a void damage stage. So after 1 minute, if no BattleFly is a winner, every BattleFly take void damage. So they take unblockable damage. So you don't want to stall too much.
you do need a way to win.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see that again, different strategies here. This time we shredded Borel's shields while regenerating our own. With our previous Battlefly, we just ignored Borel's shields and just attacked the HP directly. So, yeah, the word of the day here is synergy. Make sure that your build synergizes. If you have traits, make sure it works with your traits, and start, as Jean recommended, with a utility. Figure out what your build around is before you go chasing really powerful weapons, because the utility is really what makes the build. Is that right, John?
Yep, correct, exactly. And then after, don't be, keep us a lookout because maybe you will get something new that open new options. But as you saw, both with the sharp armored component or with the nano go, the utility sets the tone and give us a clear direction.
Cool. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending and Jean for providing his insight. Jean is the mastermind behind the entirety of sort of balancing these mods. So it is always useful to have Jean's insight because he really has an intimate knowledge of all these different systems. So thank you for joining me, Jean, and providing all that info.
Thanks, this amazing presentation. You did that all your life. It's amazing. Thank you, everybody. Well, great pleasure. I see a few faces. I know it's good to have you here. Have a very good day, night, evening, depending where you are in the world.
Yep. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your questions, and keep an eye out. We'll be contacting people about those giveaways. So we will see you all in the Hyperdome.